Our first speaker is Charles Radney. How I became a trainer this time. Charles Radney.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you who wonder how a diehard Cleveland Browns fan like myself ended up in California, after being in sales the majority of my life in Ohio, from being a stockbroker to selling insurance, I landed with a company called Life Call Systems. Life Call Systems was like your help I've fallen, I can't get up button, and they were going to sell franchises. They had sold a lot of franchises on the East Coast. They decided they were going to open an office in St. Louis and another office in Los Angeles. Well, the owner of the company, who I admiringly call a Sicilian tyrant, was totally afraid of getting on airplanes. With that said, when they opened the St. Louis office, he sent people there and he knew that if he had to go to St. Louis, he could get on a plane. But there was no way he was getting on a plane and coming from New Jersey to California. So the crew that came to California were people he knew could work by themselves. That's what landed me in California. Unfortunately, they really didn't do their due diligence. So after a year and a half, they filed a bankruptcy. The next day, I started working for AT&T selling their alarm system. Now, when I was with Life Call Systems, my job on a daily basis, 6 days a week, was to train 20 to 30 brand new people who had just bought a franchise with no previous sales experience, no previous business experience. And in one day, it was my job to teach them how to run a business, how to hire people, how to sell the product, the whole 9 yards. I enjoyed doing that. I was having a ball doing that. But as I said, if they didn't do their due diligence, they did a bankruptcy. I landed with AT&T selling their alarm system. And after a short period of time, I started training people for them, but primarily was doing sales. At some point, I decided I really wanted to be in real estate. And at about the same time, I joined Toastmasters. I was recruited by the late Jerry Weisberg. Some of you may remember Jerry. Jerry was the person who brought me into Toastmasters, and I got involved with a club called the Star Lifters. Through the Star Lifters, I met my lifelong friend now, Angie Nett. Now, while we were at Star Lifters, one of our people was approached by someone because they had heard him do a presentation, thought he did a fantastic job, and they decided they wanted to hire him to do some training. Well, he was brand new at Merrill Lynch. He didn't want to take on the additional responsibility. He passed it on to Angie. Angie at that point was relatively new in the real estate business. She didn't want to take on the additional hassle, if you will. I decided to try it. And guess what? The first thing they had me do, I got hired at Chaffey College through their economic development department to be a trainer. And the first training assignment was with a local steel mill in Fontana. And the first project I had to do was to teach their employees presentation skills. Well, for a Toastmaster, that was a walk in the park, but it was fun. From there, I switched over to Chaffey College, and at Chaffey, I switched over to Valley College and helped to develop a lot of their training programs. One of the ones I did, and in order to learn how to do and create training programs, I joined ATD, which is the American Society for Talent Development. That helped me learn how to develop programs, how to set up training classes. And the premier class I set up, and primarily all we did was soft skills, but the premier class I set up was attitudes in the workplace. Because they were a grant-based program, the programs had to be 32 hours in length. And I will never forget the very first day I did a training class, and it was a 32-hour class. And when I started the class, I had a guy in the back when I played a clip from a movie, and this guy had attitude. I mean, he had attitude coming out the gazoo. At that point, the primary people being sent to the attitudes class were being sent by HR from the different companies. It was their last chance to find their way or find their way out the door. 15 minutes into that class, knowing it was a 32-hour class, my goal at that point was to learn how to handle him. I had to get him under control before he disrupted the entire class. And some of the things that we learned in Toastmasters on how to deal with hecklers, how to deal with people causing trouble, came in so beneficial and helped me to rein him in. Over the coming years, I developed other classes, one called listening skills. I do a class on goal setting. If you go to my website, which is areyoupreparedtopresent.com, you can see an entire list of all the training classes that I do. But over the years, some of the things that have been more and more helpful to me and really gave me a lot of strength and a lot of enjoyment were some of the special assignments I had. On my website, you'll see that I went up to one of the colleges in the high desert a few years ago because at a college level, they had employees who didn't understand the things they could or could not say in the workplace. So I did a class on diversity training. A couple years ago, when Ashley Furniture closed their manufacturing facility here, and a lot of you are probably not aware of the fact that when they closed their facility, they closed it in one day. They had 900 employees. Only 400 of those 900 employees were eligible to get help through EDD because the other 500 were not legal in the country. One of the most rewarding things for me was a training program that we set up through Valley College to help retrain those people and get them into HVAC jobs. Now the challenge came, however, we were told that this was going to be a group of ESL people. I had 30 people in that group, 30. 1 out of 5 spoke English. Imagine the challenge of picturing the person who did speak English and putting him in charge of the other 4 people at his table. And we got through that 12-week course with translation and help from the other people. That was so rewarding. Another great reward for me was when we did a class on listening skills. So many people talk, but very few people listen. And when we did that class on listening skills, it helped people understand how to listen and how to understand. Those are the things that have made being a trainer, and that's why I said, this is why I'm training again, made it so, so rewarding. I look forward to doing this through what we're doing with COVID, learn how to do a new skill set. We're working from home, learning the technology. It's been fun. Go to my website, areyoupreparedtopresent.com, see the classes that we do. You'll see how much training we have. You'll see how much fun we have during the training. And here again, I want to thank Angie Nett for helping open that door for me. Mr. Toastmaster.